Hi, everybody. So we're here in my studio, and we are going to talk about how to kind of restyle or clean up or refurbish a vintage Barbie doll. So this is, hopefully that's interesting to you. If not, I apologize. There will be other videos, more along the lines of costuming or bookmaking. I don't know if you saw, but I updated or if you noticed, but I updated the intro sequence to reflect more than just sewing. So there's been a little bit of a renaissance in the sweatshop. If you don't know, that's what I call my art studio. I call it the sweatshop. Long story short. And there's been a change in the sweatshop. And mostly that change is that I'm no longer costuming, or I'm no longer just costuming, I should say. I'm not the costume director for the Michigan Renaissance Festival anymore. If you want to know more about that, I talk about it extensively on Patreon. It's kind of personal, so I do have that discussion behind a paywall. I apologize. It's just kind of a touchy subject. But if you want to hear about it, I do talk about it on there. So you can go back in the archives and look that up. So now the upside is that I'm now open to do more things here in the studio. So I can explore a lot of my different interests. And I have a lot of interests. I've done a little bit of jewelry making. I've done a little bit of book binding and paper making and fabric dyeing and all sorts of things. And so I'm really excited about being able to share some of that with you guys and not just being stuck to like one or two things. And one of them is dolls. I'm an avid doll collector. I have been for many, many years, since I was a child. And so I'm going to have a few videos here and there about my collections, and it's part of my creative expression. So hopefully you guys can get something out of it and find it fun and are along for the ride. And if you don't like them and you want to skip and wait for the next, more artistic one, maybe, that's fine too. No harm. So anyway, so that's what this one's going to be about. It's going to be about how I refurbish dolls, and my information comes from a lot of different sources, a lot of trial and error, a lot of internet searches, but also I was trained by my grandmother. So my grandmother was a doll doctor. I don't know exactly when she started, but when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, she was very well known in the Flint area for her work. She worked at the Goodwill, and she would take home dolls, fix them up, and then resell them for Goodwill, for charity. She made a good little business doing this. Ended up turning into a pretty lucrative business for her. It was kind of her side gig. She was a farmer's daughter, so she never had a real extensive education. Not that she wasn't smart, she was just not educated, not highly educated. And so she, this is how she made money. Other than, her, retirement, and her husband's pension or whatever. This was her extra income. And she was really good at it. And, as a little girl who was interested in dolls, there was something magical about having a grandmother who had this studio in her house where she would sew and she would fix dolls up, and she would sometimes fix their face paint or clean them up. Some dolls needed very little intervention. Some dolls needed a lot of intervention. And she would show me things. And she trained me in how to fix up dolls. She did all kinds of different dolls. She did vinyl dolls. She wasn't a huge fan of Barbie. If you saw Barbie the movie and how Barbie changed the doll world, not everybody was in love with that. In the movie, they treat that like it was this huge revolution, which it was. But a lot of people who were invested in the doll market were very upset about Barbie because she was such a big change. And my grandmother was one of them. She did not like Barbie dolls. She had them in her collection because she understood the place that they had. She understood how important they were, and she understood that they were a game changer. But she liked the baby dolls. That was her big thing. So anyway, sorry about waxing poetic. I'll try to put up some pictures of her. She was pretty remarkable, and she's worth the internet knowing about, and knowing about her and her skill. So I have some of her dolls, and more importantly, I have this knowledge that she shared with me. So I thought, and this was what put me on the path to being a maker, put me on the path of being a creator. So we were very poor growing up, and she would give me this unending army of naked Barbies from the thrift store. And, you know, I either learned how to sew and make them clothes, or they were just naked, right? So I started to sew, and I started to make things for them, and I started to make furniture. And furniture, I had this old dilapidated dollhouse that was kind of pieced together. It was a Cindy dollhouse. It wasn't even a Barbie dollhouse. It was a hand-me-down. And it was falling apart, and I fixed that up as well as I could. And, and I filled it full of furniture, that a lot of it that I made. And it was just like, it was a great creative time. And it was a way for me to, get my creativity out and explore my creativity at a very young age. So I'm kind of coming back to that, and I'm coming back to my roots. When my grandmother passed in 2000, that was really painful for me, and my collection kind of stagnated, and I still had dolls around and in my life, but I didn't actively collect them as much anymore. So if a cool doll like kind of happened across my path, I'd pick it up, but then I would just kind of stow it away and put it into a box or put it aside somewhere. So now it's been 25 years, and I'm going back to my roots, and I'm pulling a lot of these dolls out, and I'm taking a look at them and fixing them up. This is one I picked up in the thrift recently. She is from the 90s, 1992, I think. If that's not right, I'll put the date up on the screen. But she's United Colors of Benetton Barbie. That was a clothing brand. I guess they're no longer around, or maybe they're close to being defunct. But it was a clothing brand at the time, in the 80s and 90s, known for their kind of loud, youthful, kind of colors and patterns. And I always thought it was cool. And I couldn't afford Benetton clothing, but I could afford a Benetton Barbie. So I bought her. I bought one, and I have one in the box somewhere. Again, like I said, I'm slowly getting my collection together, and I'm slowly pulling them back out. So if I find her, I will show her to you, or maybe I'll show you one I find on the internet, what she looked like. But this one I picked up in the thrift. I got her in an antique store. But she was only a couple bucks, because she's nude. She's a little dirty. She's not super disgusting, but she's kind of dirty, and her hair is really a mess. She's got this Kanekalon hair. So they use a variety of different synthetic hairs for doll wigs and for doll rooting. Everything from mohair to acrylics to nylons, all sorts of stuff. Kanekalon is a fiber that's also used for human wigs and human weaves. Its texture, especially when it's new, is the most like human hair, in that it's kind of soft and fluffy, kind of like, not all human hair is the same, right? But it's kind of hard to describe. It's just got this soft, fluffy kind of texture to it. The downside behind this hair is it dries out, and it gets frizzy, and you can piss it off very easily. So you can see, like, whatever little girl or whoever owned this before totally pissed this hair off, and then they just decided to put it in this little bubble braid, which is cute, and that's a great solution. So we're gonna see. We're gonna take these rubber bands out, and we're gonna see what we're up against. Hopefully we should be able to. It doesn't look like it was cut, which is pretty amazing. Most of the dolls I bought in this set, I bought a whole bunch of dolls that day, and most of them that I bought had their hair cut. So this is pretty amazing. It does not look like her hair was cut. She's got her earrings. She is missing her ring, which is a bummer. I have not found a solution for ring blanks yet. So if you have a solution for that, or a suggestion, please feel free to put that in the comments below. I've been trying to find something. I have been making earrings for my dolls that are missing earrings just by using plastic retainers like you would use for facial piercings and gluing gems on them and stuff. So that's pretty easy. But she's got her earrings, so I don't need to make her earrings. I would like to make her a ring. I just need to find something. Whatever I could use for a ring. Her facial makeup is in pretty good shape. I don't see any big rubs or anything. And I like how bright and primary her facial painting is, right? That blue eyeliner and eyeshadow and the bright red lip and the bright blue earrings. Really pretty, I think. Really beautiful. I do have an outfit in mind for her. I'll show that to you a little bit later. I forgot to bring it in here. So for right now, let's take a look at her. So the first thing I do is I inspect the dolls. Even before I buy them, I kind of look them over to see what's going on. She's got a little scrape on her thumb. I might try to sand that off. I might just leave it because thumbs are kind of thin and fragile, and I might just leave it go. One thing my grandmother always taught me was do as little intervention as possible. Don't, because if you mess with it too much, you can't come back from some things. So, do as little as you need to get her to look how you want her to look. So that's always been my strategy. It's always been my philosophy. And I learned that from her. So we're going to do what we need to get her cleaned up and get her ready to go. And whatever she doesn't need to do, we're not going to do. So again, she's a little dirty. She's not bad, though. She doesn't have any chew marks. That's another thing you want to look for. That's what I was afraid that was on her thumb. But I think that's just, I don't know. She had a run-in with something. It's hard to say. But she doesn't have any chew marks on her hands, except for that one little scrape, whatever that is. She doesn't have any chew marks on her hands, and she doesn't have any chew marks or needle marks on her feet. That's another thing that kids, for some reason, like to do. I never understood that. And if you're one of those kids, no shade. If you were one of those kids that chewed on the Barbie legs, hey, that's your doll. I'm not here to shame you. So, it is what it is. She doesn't have any mold or anything. She has some glitter from being in here. But she doesn't have any mold or anything like that on her. So, she's actually in pretty good shape. This hair is the only thing I was worried about. And I got her specifically because of the state of her hair. I did a totally hair Barbie. I bought a brunette totally hair Barbie, and her hair was really bad. And you have to be very careful with Kanekalon hair because it likes to shed and it likes to pull out very easily. So you can go from a full head of hair to like bald, like without trying. So that was part of why I bought her, was I bought her with the idea that I want to try some new techniques for her hair. And that reminds me, I have to go get some things. So let's undo her hair without any further ado, and let's see where we're at. So I'm just going to take my, oh, that's my seam ripper. I'm just going to take my stiletto, and I'm just going to cut these rubber bands. I'm not even going to play with them. I'm not going to try to save them. Those are thin rubber bands. And, you know, if these are some kind of precious something and you're screaming at me through your phone or through your computer screen or whatever, I'm sorry. But I'm not about to sit here and try to save ancient rubber bands. I'm actually surprised that these are in as good a shape as they're in. A lot of times, that's one of the first things. Well, I mean, these are not original to this doll, but a lot of times rubber bands just disintegrate in hair. They only last so long. So rubber bands are not a forever solution. Every once in a while when I find an older doll and she still has her rubber bands, I'm always amazed. I'm trying really hard. Oh, that one just snapped. I'm trying really hard not to cut her hair. See, these are on the brink of falling apart. So she originally would have had beautiful long crimped hair. Again, if I haven't put up a picture yet, I will put one up now. And oops, slid a little bit. And you can see some of that crimp is still there. One of the things, people that like Connect-A-Lawn hair, that's one of the things I like about it, is it holds the style really well. Like this crimp, I will wash this and this crimp will not completely go away. So that's really nice. So I'm looking at it and it will kind of lock up on you. You know what I mean? Kind of go into locks if it's let to go and it, you know, and it's too dry. And it looks like it's starting to do that. You can see it's kind of clumping up a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to get this to release. I don't want to be dragging my comb through this. So I'm going to start with this metal comb. It's two-sided. I got a nice wide side and I got a narrow side. The metal creates less drag than a plastic comb does. So that was suggested online and it's true. It really works. So we're going to start with this, but I'm also going to get some hair oil to put in her hair to kind of help keep this moisturized. This isn't too bad. I felt really bad Connect-A-Lawn hair in the past. This isn't too bad, but it is pretty dry. So I'm going to go get some stuff to put in her hair, and I'm going to go get her outfit that we're going to put her in. So I'm going to be right back with that stuff. So hold tight. As I was saying, her hair is really, really dry. So I've got a couple of hair products. I've got some leave-in conditioner, and brand doesn't really matter. I think this was on sale. And then I got some hair oil. I don't love this hair oil. It's kind of, well, if you'll pardon the expression, oily. But we're going to wash the hair anyway, so I think it's going to be fine. What we want to do is we want to lube the hair up a little bit so that the comb can move through it more easily. Then I also went and got this fashion that we're going to put her in afterwards. So I bought this. It's new in the package. This is from late 80s, mid 80s. I don't remember. What's the date on this? 1989. 1989 is the package date. So this is like, probably it was on the shelves in 1990. I don't remember this. I was actively collecting at that time. I don't remember this line, but I always liked the fancier dresses and the fancier outfits. So this would not have been up my alley, which now I regret because I have very few clothing items to put my dolls in that are just kind of everyday wear, but whatever. So this is cute. This is cute. And I thought, right, the red with her red lip, like it just felt like it goes together. I don't like the blue and the blue, but we'll deal with that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, so hopefully you saw that. Hopefully you saw the whole fashion. Let me move it within where my thing is. Don't you love that old Barbie logo? Just love it. Like, this is the Barbie logo from my childhood. So we're going to save this packaging because I might do something with that. I should get it tattooed on me. Oh, and there's all these great Barbie fashions. Maybe I'll take some screenshots of these. Aren't those wonderful? Again, these were not up my alley so much because I like the fancier stuff, but they're cute. They're cute. Yeah, so that's the outfit we're going to put her in. We're going to open that together. So I'm going to start on her hair, and I'm going to start using the wide-toothed end of my comb, and I'm just going to gently, if I come into any resistance, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to go closer to the end, and just kind of gently work with her here. Gently move through her hair a little at a time. And because it's so dry, I am going to lube this up a little bit. So I'm going to open up my oil. That's a lot.
That was a lot, Robin. Oh.
That's a lot. This stuff is really oily. It's okay. I got paper towels. Oh. Connect-A-Lawn hair is really dry though. So it'll probably... Oops, see, exactly that. You don't want to do that. This drives me crazy. When I see people, like, with their dolls, they're just, like, whipping them around. And I'm like, well, that's why your hair's a mess. That's why your doll's hair's a mess. Because you don't know how to hold a doll still. Don't whip your doll's hair around like that. That drives me crazy. Unless you're trying to drive me crazy, then, you know, continue. Again, we are going to be washing her hair. So it's okay if this comes out a little greasy. So this is new. Me using this. I used this on one other doll and it worked out pretty well. I was pretty impressed. Yeah, look how greasy that is. But we're just gonna, again, we just want this to release. Oh, that's doing a good job, actually. That oil is lubing that hair right up and getting those knots to just let go. And that's what we want. We just don't want resistance. We want those knots to let go. And Connect-A-Lawn hair, when it is beautiful and new, I just did an unboxing of some dolls. I don't know which video is going to go up first, but I just did some unboxing of some skater dolls. And when you look at their hair, it is so shiny and so beautiful because it's new. And it's never been combed through, and it's never been messed with, and it's not been washed. And here's something else that my grandmother always taught me. Don't wash your doll's hair in hot water unless you know what you're doing. Only some doll hair can take hot water. So if you're unsure, don't do it. Because the doll hair that can't take hot water really can't take it. And Connect-A-Lawn is one of them. Connect-A-Lawn cannot handle hot water. It can't. So you have to be very careful with it. A lot of doll enthusiasts that clean up old dolls, they will do what's called a boil wash on their doll hair. And they will pour boiling water over their doll's hair. And some doll hair you can do that with, and it's fine. Some doll hair, like this, you absolutely cannot. Notice what I'm doing, by the way. I'm holding at her scalp so that I'm not pulling the hair out. I'm slowly working. When I feel a little resistance, I lift up. So if I feel too much resistance, I lift up, and then I go back over it a second time. Anyway, so if you don't know the type of hair that you have, don't risk it. This stuff will shrivel up and do awful things, and you might not be able to come back from it. All right, we got a little bit, we're losing a little bit of hair, but this is Connect-A-Lawn. That's not bad. And I don't know when's the last time this girl's hair was brushed, so a little bit coming out is to be expected. If it starts to be clumps, then we need to slow down. And you can go too fast with this. Take your time. Put on an audiobook. Watch a movie. Listen to your best friend, on the phone. Like, call your mom. She misses you. Call her. Do something that you can do in the background that will keep you calm. And so maybe don't call your mom, but do something in the background that you can have in the background so that you can pay attention to that and just let your hands move. Just do this and let your hands move. And don't rush it. Don't push it. Just slowly go through. Look at how that is coming out. So shiny. It's oily. But it needs it. This hair is so dry. So dry. I know this is a lot of hair oil I'm using. You can see it soaking into the paper towel. But that's okay. We're lubing it up so that these knots will come out instead of pulling the hair out. And I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. And I'm going slow. Alright, so I'm going to do this for a little while. I may zoom through it in some way, but I'm going to do it with her face up. Then I'll flip her upside down. I'll do it with her face down. I'll start over and do exactly this thing that I'm doing here, face down. See, just the time we've been doing this together. Look at how far I was able to go down. I was able to go down all the way to here. And again, I'm using the wide-toothed comb, the wide-toothed end of my comb. Man, I wish I had done this on my total hair Barbie. She lost so much hair. And she had all of her hair. It was just badly knotted. It was so bad. But it's okay. She was a thrift doll. Another one will come into my life.
Later.
Just want to be careful. Okay, I feel like the majority of the resistance I'm getting is from the back of her hair at this point. So I'm going to give her a flip. But this side looks pretty good. Do you see how different it looks? How it looks like I could actually comb through that now. This side, not so much. You see how this side is still like, no. So we're just going to give her... We're just going to saturate her with this oil. This is what I bought this oil for, is for her hair. And for Connect-A-Lawn hair in general, but specifically for this doll, because I knew it was bad. And we're just going to work with it. Okay, you see where we're at? So now, whether I'm on the front or on the back of her head, I can pretty much pull the comb through, and I'm on the narrow side. I don't want to go any closer than that right now. We'll see how it looks when her hair is all washed and clean. But for right now, we're going to call this good. But I can pretty much pull this through front and back with the same lack of resistance, or minimal resistance. Again, I'm not forcing it. If I'm feeling a little bit of resistance, I just stop and start over. But yeah, it's coming through with very minimal resistance. And I only lost a tiny little clump of hair. That is not much. That's not even like, I don't even know if it's a full plug. So worth. It's not like she has a bare plug somewhere, but total, that's not much hair at all. I'm very pleased with these results. Okay. So that oil, again, is a little gross to handle, but it smells good. So that's anti-frizz serum from Garnier. Yeah, and it seems to do a pretty good job. I was very generous with it, as you saw, because I just wanted this hair. And you can see how greasy my hands are. And you can see, right, even though I doused this, there's still some static in this hair. See that? See how it spreads like that? It's still a little staticky over here. You see that? See how it's being attracted to my comb. So it's really dry in here. It's, you know, still wintertime in Michigan. And that's just Kanekalon hair. It's just like super, super dry. So we're going to just kind of work this oil into the whole hair and let it absorb in a little bit. And we're going to take this, now we're going to take her to the bathroom. And I'm going to try to set us up. I also want to put a little bit in her bangs. Her bangs will probably set up in a curler. Just whatever's on my hands, I'll just work into her bangs. So we're going to take her into the bathroom, and we are going to give her a bath. We're going to wash her hair, wash her up really good. Then we will bring her back in here. I probably won't use that oil anymore, but I will use this leave-in conditioner if she needs more conditioning, which she probably will, because, again, Kanekalon hair is really dry. Especially the older it gets, the drier it gets. But we've got a good sheen on it right now. It's still super dry. Like, you wouldn't think, because look at all this oil we've absorbed, but it's really dry. I mean, you could probably, you know what I should try next time? Here's an experiment we'll try next time, is if I'd put some oil on her and like put a baggie over her head and just let it sit and absorb, or some plastic wrap. I wonder if that would have made a difference. Well, I'm just going to go thrift another doll. So we could try that out at some point. Okay, but for now, we are going to, for now I'm happy with how we look. Her hair, again, it looks so much better than it did. So we're going to go wash, and I'm going to try to rig my phone up somehow. I don't know how, but we'll rig my phone up somehow so that you can see what I'm doing. So I don't need those right now, I don't think. So I'm going to leave my oils off to the side. I'm going to take this. I don't want to touch my phone. My hands are so gross. All right, we're going to take our girl, and I will see you guys in the bathroom. I don't know how I'm going to rig my phone up, but we'll rig it up some kind of way. See you in a bit. Here we are at the not at all fancy spa. So I'm going to start off. My water takes forever to heat up, but I just need a few simple things. A toothbrush. This is the old toothbrush that I use. Some dish detergent. I use Dawn because I like it. It's good enough for ducks. It's good enough for my dolls. I tried to bring a towel in here, but that's okay. I got a paper towel. My girl with her hair. Look at how much better that hair looks, though. Can you believe that? But that's that same messed up hair that we had earlier. It is so oily, though. So, definitely, she needs a bath. So, some people that do this will submerge their dolls. I don't recommend doing that. You don't want to risk getting any water inside the body cavity. These body cavities are hollow because it can mold and give you funky smells and mess up your doll. So, let's see if I'm on. Hopefully I'm staying in frame here for the most part. My phone is just kind of on its kickstand. So I'm just going to scrub everywhere. Some people do dish soap and baking soda. If she's a particularly dirty doll, she or he is a particularly dirty doll, go ahead and do that. This girl is pretty clean, actually. I just got her for the hair, so I wanted to try that hair oil in her hair. This is probably all we'll get done on her tonight, by the way. Let's just get her scrubbed up. And then I'll let her dry overnight. And then tomorrow, we'll dress her. I'm not thinking I'm going to style her hair. I'm trying to be careful as I'm flipping her around. I don't want to tangle her hair up. We just spent all that time detangling her hair, and I don't want it to get all messed up again. Make sure you get everywhere, back of her head, back of her hands, her armpits, her crotch. Get her everywhere. Alright. I'm going to rinse her off. And I can see the lovely pink tone of her skin. Her body and her arms and her legs and her head are slightly different colors. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I think you can see that. Her body's a little bit more tan. That's okay. It's just aged differently. It's gotten a little bit of a patina to it over time. It happens. I've got age spots myself. Again, as I'm flipping her around and trying really hard to keep her hair kind of all going in the same direction. Now my water is just finally starting to heat up. Like I said, my water takes forever to heat up. I don't know why. Just in the sink. Nowhere else in the house, just in the sink. I'm also going to try to keep her bangs. Her bangs aren't too badly messed up with the rest of her hair, so I'm going to try to keep that. Oops. You can use Dawn to wash their hair. I've done that plenty of times, and it's fine. I'm going to use this L'Oreal, because it's got no sulfides. This is the stuff I use on my own hair. It's very gentle, not meant to strip the hair of natural oils too much. Because again, we don't want to dry her out. She's already pretty dry. So again, I'm not going to scrunch her hair up. We worked really hard to smooth it out. So I am going to keep it smoothed out. Alright. Clean. Now I'm going to put some conditioner. This is a little controversial, the conditioner. It can, because this isn't hair, it can attract oils and dirt and stuff to a doll's hair and make it look dirtier faster. It really depends, again, on the fiber that we're using. Again, this is Kanekalon. And Kanekalon, as we already discussed, dries out quickly. So, I'm not going to shy away from adding a bunch. This stuff smells so good. So good. It's not super expensive. It's just the L'Oreal brand. Alright. And this, I'm going to comb through her hair because I want to saturate every strand. So again, I'm going to be very gentle because her hair is wet now, so it's very fragile. It's old Kanekalon. And we're going to treat it gently. I'm again using the wider teeth. Just so I'm not dragging her wet hair too much. That's combed through pretty well. Now if this was saran hair, I might do a boil wash at this point and just rinse the hair in boiling water. This is Kanekalon hair. It can't handle that kind of temperature. So I'm just going to turn my hot water all the way up, and I'm going to let her rinse. I'm just going to rinse. Work that conditioner through to the ends. Let it soak up. And I'm feeling pretty good about this. So I might, yeah, I think I'm going to call that pretty much done. So again, my tap water is very, very hot. It's just on the warm side of what I can stand to put my hands in. So I'm just gonna saturate her hair in that. And that will just encourage the hair. And now, so that opens up the fibers. And now I'm going to switch to cold, cold water and shock the fiber. So this will seal it. Nice and smooth. And it feels nice and smooth. I'm feeling good about this, you guys. And it looks good too. All right. So let's dry her off. I'm just going to comb her hair out. I'm going to put a roller in her bangs, and I'm going to let her dry overnight. So I will likely see you tomorrow, and we will see what the results are.